my name is Abby Lynch and I'm the Teen Services Librarian at the Brookfield Library, back for another week of Teen Book Talks. It's time for our new book roundup for April, and this month I'm focusing on science fiction and fantasy books that are newly into the library. You can come in and browse. We are open for browsing our full hours. You can find those online, and any kind of safety protocols that you'd be looking for, you can find that information online. Or we are still doing curbside pickup, so you can place your hold online at brookfieldlibrary.org, or give us a call at 203-775-6241 and we can get those books put outside for you. So I'll just get started with some science fiction and fantasy books. The first two are science fiction, and our first book is Star Wars: The High Republic Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. Jedi Padawan Reath Silas loves adventure. Reading about it, that is, not living it. Content to spend hours browsing the Jedi archives on Coruscant, Reath dreams of being one of the great scholars of the Jedi Order. But Reath's master, the well-respected and virtuous Jora Malai, has other plans. She's taken a post at Starlight Beacon, the Republic's shining new outpost on the edge of known space. As her Padawan, Reath must join her, whether he likes the idea or not. And he most definitely does not. So Reath reluctantly boards the ship that will take him and a few other Jedi to the dedication of Starlight Beacon, where Master Jora waits for him to start their new adventurous life on the frontier. But trouble in hyperspace leaves the ship and other nearby vessels stranded, with only an eerie, abandoned space station reachable for shelter. And the secrets hidden there will not only bring Reath to a crossroads, but if left unchecked, could plunge the entire galaxy into darkness. So that's Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, which is part of the new Star Wars High Republic series. There's a couple of books, I think, coming out for each age level in this sort of new Star Wars iteration. This book is also available in ebook format on Hoopla. Next up, we have another science fiction, Hardwired by Len Vlahos. Quinn thinks he's a normal boy with an average life. That is, until he finds a trail of clues that the father he barely knew left behind. After Quinn unravels his father's puzzles, he wakes up and realizes his world was nothing more than a virtual construct. In reality, he's the first fully aware AI in the world, part of an experiment run by a team of scientists, including the man he thought was his father. As the scientists continue to study him, Quinn's new existence becomes a waking nightmare. Determined to control his own destiny, he finds allies in other teens, including his crush Shay, and plots his escape. But what does true freedom look like when you're not human? So that's Hardwired by Len Vlahos. These next two books are in the sort of paranormal, spooky-ish realm of sci-fi and fantasy, starting with What Big Teeth by Rose Szabo. Eleanor Zarin has been estranged from her wild family for years. When she flees boarding school after a horrifying incident, she goes to the only place she thinks is safe, the home she left behind. But when she gets there, she struggles to fit in with her monstrous relatives who prowl the woods around the family estate and read fortunes in the guts of birds. Eleanor finds herself desperately trying to hold the family together. In order to save them all, Eleanor must learn to embrace her family of monsters and tame the darkness inside her. Exquisitely terrifying, beautiful, and strange, this fierce gothic fantasy will sink its teeth into you and never let go. So that's What Big Teeth by Rose Szabo. Next up, we have The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. Kappa Rho Nu isn't your average sorority. Their parties are notorious. Their fundraisers are known for being Westerly College's most elaborate affairs. But beneath the veil of Greek life and prestige, the sisters of Kappa Rho Nu share a secret. They're a coven of witches. For Vivi Devereaux, being one of Kappa Rho Nu's ravens means getting a chance to redefine herself. For Scarlet Winters, a bona fide raven and daughter of a legacy raven, pledge this year means living up to her mother's impossible expectations of becoming Kappa Rho Nu's next president. Scarlet knows she'd be the perfect candidate. That is, if she didn't have one human-sized skeleton in her closet. When Vivi and Scarlet are paired as big and little for initiation, they find themselves sinking into the sinister world of blood oaths and betrayals. So that's The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. And the last two books are some more fantasy. So this is Wings of Ebony by J.L. Make a way out of no way is just the way of life for Rue. But when her mother is shot dead on her doorstep, life for her and her younger sister changes forever. Rue's taken from her neighborhood by the father she never knew, forced to leave her sister behind, and whisked away to Gizon, a hidden island of magic wielders. Rue is the only half-god, half-human there, where leaders protect their magical powers at all costs and thrive on human suffering. Miserable and desperate to see her sister on the anniversary of her mother's death, Rue breaks Gizon's sacred "do not leave" law and returns to Houston, only to discover that black kids are being forced into crime and violence. Her sister Tasha is in danger of falling sway to the very forces that claimed her mother's life. Worse still, evidence mounts that the evil plaguing East Row is the same one that lurks in Gizon, an evil that will stop at nothing until it has stolen everything from her and everyone she loves. Rue must embrace her true identity and wield the full magnitude of her ancestors' power to save her neighborhood before the gods burn it to the ground. So that's Wings of Ebony by J.L. And last up we have Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. Life in the Queen City isn't easy, especially for a two-bit thief like Rags. When his latest score goes sideways, he's nabbed by royal sorcerer Morian the Last, who forces him to steal the 6 pieces of an immeasurably powerful ancient Fey relic. Rags is still determined to somehow get away unscathed, until he discovers that the relics Morian is after are actually people. A distractingly handsome Fey prince who has been asleep for centuries, a Queen's Guard deserter with more honor than common sense, a daughter of a disgraced noble family who hits first and asks questions later, a deceptively sweet-natured prince, a member of the underground resistance neither trusting nor trustworthy, and him, Rags. There's no way they can let Morian enact his dark plans, but 6 misfits against an exceptionally wicked enemy doesn't make for generous odds. Luckily, Rags is not generous, he's smart, and he has a plan that just might work. So that's Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. So those are some of our new science fiction and fantasy titles in the teen section. I hope you check some of them out. We have other new books too that are not science fiction and fantasy. If that's not your jam, I'll do a video on some other new books coming up. And we hope to see you come in to browse at the library or put some stuff on hold and pick it up curbside. And until next time, I hope you have a great week.